Okay, next up, we're going to talk about Magic Johnson. So we have discussed in the past the Washington football team, the Commanders. A while back, we did a video talking about how reportedly Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos are behind the shadows working to put together an ownership group to put in a bid for the Washington Commanders. However, there has not been much news about that recently, but there has been news about other potential ownership groups coming in to buy the squad, the Washington Commanders. So Magic Johnson is a part of the latest potential group to come in to purchase the Washington Commanders. For anybody who doesn't know, Daniel Snyder is the current owner of the Washington Commanders. He is a very controversial person. There was this whole study done that found that the organization was, participating in all of the isms: racism, sexism, misogynistic, blah 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 blah. All of the left wing stuff that people love talking about these days. And so he's radioactive, and there's pressure for him to sell the team because people just don't want him to own the team no more, I guess. So he said that he's exploring the idea of selling the team, but he has an asking price of $6 billion, which would be the most expensive purchase of any professional sports franchise in history, eclipsing what is currently the record, which is the Denver Broncos, which I believe was purchased for $4.5 billion by the Walmart family. So this particular article from TMZ says Magic Johnson Group submits $6 billion bid to buy Commanders. Magic Johnson may soon be adding the title of NFL owner to his legacy. The NBA icon is part of a group that just submitted an offer to buy the Washington Commanders that meets Dan Snyder's asking price. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported the Lakers Hall of Famer, alongside 76ers owner Josh Harris and billionaire Mitchell Rales, officially submitted a $6 billion bid to buy the franchise on Tuesday. The development is substantial because Snyder, who revealed in late 2022 that he was exploring selling the Commanders, has been reportedly seeking $6 billion for his club, which could mean a sale to the Johnson Harris Rails Group is now imminent. The move would spell bad news for Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z, as the two Titans had big interest in buying the Commanders, even grabbing dinner in LA back in November to formulate a potential purchase plan. Others interested in buying the Washington franchise reportedly included Canadian billionaire Steve Apostolopoulos. I hope I'm saying that right, but he's rich as hell, so who cares if I'm saying his name wrong? And Houston Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta. If the Commanders do sell, the $6 billion deal would break the previous record sale for an NFL franchise set last summer, when billionaire Rob Walton purchased the Denver Broncos for $4.65 billion. So that's that number. As for Johnson, it would add to a seriously impressive business resume that already features ownership stakes in the Dodgers, the Sparks, and the Los Angeles Football Club, which I believe is soccer. So I think that this is interesting. Magic is kind of a beast out there in the business world, but if this goes down, he could be. Now, they don't necessarily get into the weeds with who would be the majority owner, because it's an ownership group. So there's obviously no details at this point in terms of percentages and shares. So we don't know who would be the majority owner, or whether all three of them. I don't know how this stuff works. If there's somebody in the comments who understands how this stuff goes, they can let us know. This is above my pay grade in terms of money and being rich. But what's interesting to me is Magic Johnson being a part of it. So there you have it. If this panned out, it could very well put the kibosh on the Jay-Z Jeff Bezos thing. You and I had fun talking about that in a video late last year, I think, is when we talked about that. So, do you have any impressions of this potential situation going down with Magic in this group?
I like it, love it. Um, I'm all for Magic. Um, he's I just like how he just handles things and does stuff. So um, I heard people trying to kick dust up on his name, business wise, a few times here or there, but the guy's still rocking and rolling and getting things done. I mean, decades later. I mean, he's been getting in the game since the '90s with all of this stuff. So I love everything about it. Um, Snyder, he's an interesting character. I like the fact that he got pissed off at the other owners and said he was going to start exposing some people. I'm still waiting for more stuff. The Jerry Jones thing was hot. I don't know where the hell he got that picture from, but I want more dirt. I thought I was going to get more dirt on GMs. I'm not getting that, or owners. I'm not getting that. But $6 billion adjusted for inflation makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Yeah, it's the greatest, highest deal ever. But I mean, look at the economy right now. So, and honestly, the Walmart. You said Walmart family bought the Broncos, right? That's a
Yeah.
smart move, man. And because one thing about the NFL, that's gonna keep rocking.
Yep.
And that's a hell of an investment to just hunker down and get an asset in, because that's not going nowhere. So for Magic to get in, like you said, who knows the percentage, but bro, I'll take 1%.
Yeah.
Let me get in on that group. I'll give y'all 0.002, percent of that. Give me something so I can get something rolling in. So how about you, man? You like this move? You like Magic? How do you feel about Snyder? How do you feel about the name of Commanders? There's a lot going on
Yeah, I was definitely waiting for the whole thing to come crashing down with Snyder. I was really hoping that he was going to be a whistleblower.
here. Yeah,
I
man.
was like, I was looking for a I was looking for NFL Watergate. That's what I was looking for. And we never got it, man. And that sucks because I know a lot of those other owners got dirt too. Um, it is what it is. Like I said, man, you know, these franchises, Colin Cowherd, I brought this up last week. Colin Cowherd points out that with the current volatility of the world economy, not just the US economy, but the world economy, people don't know whether to invest money in real estate. People don't know whether to invest money in crypto. People don't know whether to invest money in, the stock market. You know, it's so volatile. I saw some report Disney's shares reached like a 25-year low or something at the end of 2022. That the Disney Plus thing, stock prices are going down. People don't know where to put their money. The market is so volatile. And Cowherd points out that the one sure thing in this world still is professional sports franchises. That's the one thing that a rich person can put money into and be relatively certain that they are going to turn a profit and they're not going to lose money. And the NFL is such a conglomerate in this country. It's a money printer. The Washington Commanders have not been viable in terms of Super Bowl contention since the early to mid 90s, yet they print money year over and the games sell out year over. And it doesn't matter whether there's a controversy over the name or the mascot, people come out in droves because the NFL in this country is a pastime. So whenever you get to put money into one of these franchises, you're going to triple your worth at least. You're going to come out on top. These things are a money printer. They're the only sure thing in an economy that is otherwise extremely volatile. These franchises are the only sure thing. So I'm in favor of this because number one, looking at this juxtaposed to the potential selling of the Charlotte Hornets by Michael Jordan, and how I'm disappointed in that because it's one less black owner owning a professional team. This can sort of replace that if it goes down. Obviously, we're speculating here. We're sort of projecting into the future. Obviously, this is all speculative at the moment. Nothing's set in stone. We're just kind of talking about this for fun on this channel for content. But presuming or not, or rather being presumptuous to believe that Jordan is eventually going to sell the Hornets, one less owner in the NBA or in the sports landscape, period. Now we can have that replaced with this particular situation with Magic and the Commanders. But what I like even more about this is, to me, I perceive it as a double whammy because it's the replacement of a black owner in a professional sports franchise, on top of the fact that it's taking place in the cabal, otherwise known as the NFL. The NFL, in which I have always personally believed that when it comes to diversity at the ownership level, there is an impenetrable wall that will never be breached. That's what I've always thought. Not because there are not necessarily because of the fact that there are active forces trying to keep people from being a part of it, but because of what I just expressed. These franchises are priceless in terms of their worth. So the individuals who own them aren't looking to sell them. They're not. They're going to keep them in the family, or they're going to, pass off ownership to the next person who is within the circle to keep everything going. But it's usually maintained within the family. You can look all the way down the line, whether it's the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys, the Patriots. These are essentially billion-dollar family-run businesses. They don't change hands. They don't change ownership. They remain with these individuals into perpetuity because they are absolutely priceless. And so they just don't get sold. And so for Magic to be a black guy to be a part of the group, on top of the fact that it's the cabal that is the NFL, I look at this as a win for sure. I'm happy about it, and I hope it goes down. I truly do, and I hope that at the very least, and this might be wishful thinking, but I hope that it's at the very least equal parts ownership between everybody involved. But if I had to guess, that's probably not going down. Magic is a very wealthy individual, but I'm just guessing that those other two guys have a little higher net worth than Magic does. So I don't necessarily know that it's going to be equitable, but Magic being a part of it to me is a W. And I definitely like it better than the Bezos Jay-Z deal because, and I've expressed this before, I get a little disenchanted with the fact that the best and the brightest when it comes to opportunities for black people, especially in this particular context, seems to always have to revolve around like a rapper. I don't like that. It makes my skin crawl. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I'm saying that as a person, I'm saying that as somebody who is a Jay-Z fan for sure.
A
I
big
am of the music, of the music
yeah.
of the music. But otherwise, I don't know. There's something that I don't like. I feel something intrinsically off about these rappers being a part of these situations. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it exactly. I don't necessarily think that hip hop people and rappers represent the best of us as a community. Sometimes in certain respects, I kind of think it's the opposite. So, for Magic, who is otherwise to me upstanding, and he definitely has a track record for helping people, with his Starbucks and Burger King and the movie theaters and all of the stuff that he does, employing people. Now granted, these are all institutions of modern day slavery, but nevertheless, you're employing people, you're putting people to work. It is what it is. I can't knock that all the way. And Magic has a track record for this stuff that I appreciate. Putting black people to work and all of this kind of stuff, putting money in people's pockets. So I can appreciate the sentiment, and I hope that it goes forward because for me, it's a three-pronged thing. It's putting the kibosh on Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos, replacing Jordan, and then this being in the NFL. I think that that's a win, and so I hope that it comes to fruition. I really do.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. I hope Magic gets this. Me personally, as long as he's in the group, he balling to me. It's a hell of a flex. Uh, you know, just another milestone, another piece of security in his overall, legacy, whatever he's looking after. And I love it, man. And as far as the the cabal of what you call it in the NFL, and I told you, man, it is a it got started from organized crime.
People
And
need to do research on that. We should do a video maybe down the line, just kind of non-celebrity related, where you kind of get into that because people don't realize this stuff. They just think it
yeah,
was always this sports league.
yeah, and so the history of it's deep. That's why Vegas and them are so close. There's something going on. There's a racket going on somewhere, right? And we watch the final product, on Sundays, but sometimes the referees get a little too involved in the game. Sometimes, if you know what I mean. Same thing with the NBA. So when you're watching these things, that's what I don't like. When I feel like there's interference going on, uh, can't stand it, man. That is one thing that irks me. I like to see a good game. But one thing about college basketball, and I have not been watching it, but since my Canes are in the Final Four,
How about that?
how about that, boy? I'm sitting there watching these games. I'm like, these refs ain't calling shit, and I love it. Them boys out there playing basketball. So yeah, I like that. It's better than the NBA, Olay defense, and referees calling, if you breathe on James Harden beard.
Oh my
So
God, yeah.
I can't stand it, man. Everything's free throws and commercial breaks.
And threes, yeah, free throws and threes, yeah,
Yeah, but I
yeah,
digress. I let it
right.
way. Over there. But I like I said, man. Uh, I think it's great. He's been a good role model in the sense of how to transition from athlete to business mogul, because it's literally right there for all of these guys. Uh, when you're earning, like for instance, we were talking about John Morant and him earning hundreds of millions of dollars, in his contract, and it's just like, if you're getting hundreds of millions of dollars today, right now, with all this stuff going on, you can position yourself so well that you won't have to dribble a ball again. And Magic, you know, maybe being him because him retiring the way he had to and all this other stuff, maybe he knew he had to find another way to get to it. And then he just landed on being a businessman, and he's just been running with that. But he's a good example for all of these guys that are getting life-changing money. Don't get the Bugatti, all right? Don't get the Ghost, all right? Don't get anything that these young rappers are driving. Teslas, don't do it, and put yourself in a position, man, where you can really get generational wealth. People just say generational wealth because it's millions of dollars. Well, now we see that ain't going nowhere, especially when they be taxing half. So you got to find a way to invest it into something. Magic is doing that. He's laying down the framework, and I love every second of it. So kudos to him. Snyder, he knows what's up. His pockets aren't that deep to really go against those crime families like that. So he probably got a cease and desist. Probably got a horse head on his pillow when he woke up. Yeah, man, you messing with these mafioso people. You can't be going around. I'm gonna expose Jerry Jones. I'm gonna expose all these other. Hey, man, you barking up the wrong trees. So I think that's probably why he got a little quiet. Because I think he's got more. Because he got out in so many ways. He was just like, well, y'all do crap too. Why
Yeah,
y'all getting after me? It's like,
yeah,
yeah, Snyder, but you're taking it too far.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, right on, Magic. Love it, man. Love it.
yeah. I love it too, man. I do. I really hope that it goes down. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. But yeah, these things are money printers, and like the thing is, you know, Chris Rock said, I quote comedians a lot on this channel, but that's because they speak truth. And Chris Rock said, there's a difference between rich and wealthy, and people tend to use the words interchangeably, but they mean very different things. And the example that Chris Rock used back in his stand-up, I think it was the Bigger and Blacker. It was either Bigger and Blacker or Never Scared. But he said, the difference between rich and wealthy is Shaq is rich, but the white guy who writes his checks is wealthy. Wealthy is like the people who wealthy is the family who owns the color blue, stuff like that. This is
Yeah.
money that this is money that it's like it perpetuates on itself, like it lasts forever into perpetuity. Literally, it's too big to fail. You cannot do anything for it to go away. That's actually what generational wealth is. And there's a difference between being a millionaire or even being a billionaire and being somebody who is actually generationally perpetually wealthy. And like an NFL ownership stake is something that I cannot think of any. There are few things in this world, from what I've seen, that are a surefire bet for being able to create that or generate that more than owning an NFL team. I don't know. Like, obviously, if you are a part of the Rockefeller family or a part of the robber barons or these people who stole land from people back in the day and built your businesses and empires, and now those things are kind of those things are kind of lasting forever, and now your family gets the benefit. You got all of these rich families running around here that did it that way, the brick and mortar stuff, the industrialization of this country and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. But in today's world, owning sports franchises, hitting a lick in the tech world, there's certain avenues that if you hit it at the right time, doing the right thing and making the right move, that's how you get that stuff going. And obviously, I think that the more wealthy black people we have in the world, the better. So that's a personal thing for me in terms of my personal principles and philosophy, not trying to make it a racial conversation because I think wealth for everybody is good. But obviously, me being a person who's black in this country, I revel in being able to see as many rich black people as possible. So, rich, wealthy, whatever the case may be, I kind of look at this from a holistic standpoint. And I just kind of, I kind of, I approach it from a big picture perspective. And I'm looking at certain things like, okay, if Magic is an ownership, if Magic is part owner of the the I almost said Redskins. If Matt, well, I did just say it, but I didn't mean to say it.
You
But if
bigot.
Magic is if Magic is a part owner of the Commanders, maybe that means you can get more, people of color, black people specifically, who can run analytics departments, run scouting, be VPs and general managers, or more black people on the coach, all of that good stuff. So these are the type of stuff that I think about. All of the things that people in the media want to complain about, calling the NFL racist, but don't want to actually talk about what would fix it, which is more diversity at the ownership level. So this is a way for that kind of stuff to happen where we can actually see more opportunities and less racial homogenization at the very top. And because these things have a trickle down effect. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at and that I'm hopeful for if the deal goes through. And plus, I just generally find Magic to be a likable person, unlike hip hop people and rap stars and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope the deal goes down. Everybody wants Snyder out of there because they view him as part of the problem. Personally, I just kind of call a spade a spade. It is what it is. But y'all want him out of there, get him out of there, put Magic in there along with these other people, and call it a day. I think that it's a win-win.
Yeah, and you know, there's so much stuff around Snyder. He is an asshole. So the hell with that guy. Too many crappy character stories for me to go. Oh, give him the benefit of the doubt. He's getting a bad rap. No, he's not. This guy's an asshole. So yeah, so him getting his money, him going away. Hey man, he hit a good lick, and
Right.
he's an
Yeah.
old man, but he's still young enough to enjoy that. So yeah, man, go ball out, do whatever, man, and let some new blood up in there, see what's going on. This might be the new trend with these groups getting in to for ownership percentages instead of one person getting in there. This might be a way for the NFL to still maintain control. Because if there is division at the top of ownership, then there is no owner to jump ship or anything because you got to play ball. And I told you, like
Mhm.
Vegas, the league, they got their own WWE thing going on there, and you got to play ball. You got to be ready to move with whatever. And I think that these ownership collective groups are good ways to make sure that okay, yeah, you can get in, you can be an owner, you can be an owner too. And there's all these owners, and I,
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to divvy up control because
Yeah.
the Al Davises, The what's that boy Jerry Jones's.
Jerry Jones, yeah,
I think they want to
yeah.
do away with those types of models because they can't control those teams the way that they want.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think this is the new wave. But be that as it may, he's first in line, and go for it, Magic. Go go.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder how much of that $6 billion kickback. Well, I wonder how much of that $6 billion Snyder's gonna have to kick back.
What, like for taxes
I'm
and
I'm
stuff?
pretty no for the forces at play as you talked about.
Yeah, yeah, the extortion is right. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, call Liam Neeson.
I'm willing to bet that he gonna have to kick some of that back somewhere,
Hey,
for
bro,
sure. You ain't
call.
finna sell this team for $6 billion and just ride off into the sunset. You gonna have to kick some of that getting kicked back. That
Yeah,
boy kicking some of that back.
it's blood in, blood out, bro.
Yeah.
So you ain't just gonna walk out like this. Yeah. What is that? Call Steven Seagal, Snyder. Call Steven Seagal. Hey, call somebody, man. You're gonna need some help. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But whatever 6 billion, whatever he gets to keep from that, that's a pretty nice chunk of change regardless. So
Yeah.
he'll be all right. Ain't nobody worrying about him. He'll be good. He's just on to new things, man. That's it.
Yeah.